Hey, it's Mr. Willis, and I'm going to show you some cool tricks just for making kind of a picture collage in Google Slides. This can be really good for maybe your first slide, or in this case, I'm going to do it at the end of my slideshow and maybe copy it to the beginning as well. So first thing I've done is I have pulled in a few pictures. You can see a picture kind of hiding back here, this big picture of an airplane in the front, and this got other picture behind here. It looks like a little bit of a mess. So one thing I'm going to do at the beginning here that is always easy if you're working with a lot of pictures is go up to my zoom tool, and it looks like right now it's zoomed in at 158%. I'm going to back that up to about 100%, but just pick a number there depending on your screen size, different numbers. And so now I can see all my pictures a little better. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is get my pictures arranged the way I want them. So I actually want this big picture of the airplane to be in the background. And so that's easy to do. I'm just going to put my mouse on the picture, right click, and then go to order. And this is where you can change which pictures are in front, which pictures are in back. This one, I'm going to click send to back because I want it all the way in the back. And you see how these two pictures are now kind of in front. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move these pictures down so that they're kind of, actually more in front now. And this, by the way, is just this background picture is the picture of the airplane Chuck Yeager used when he broke the sound barrier. This is a picture of him when he was a pilot in his younger days, and this is a more recent picture of him. Now, you'll notice that I'm completely covering up the airplane at this point. We don't want to cover up the airplane completely, but here's a fun thing you can do. So I'm going to click on the picture. I'll do the airplane one first, and then I'm going to go up here to Format Options. Okay, and you'll see there's a bunch of different things that we have over here. I can mess with the size and position. I could change like the coloring in it if I want. In this case, I'm just going to go to Adjustments, and the adjustment that I'm going to mess with is the transparency. It's a fancy word for being able to see through something. So I'm going to turn the transparency up here about halfway or so. And so you see now, this picture hasn't disappeared, but I can kind of see the airplane more through the background there. And now that I've done that, I almost think this would look better if he's maybe up here, okay, to get kind of a cool blending in there. And I'm going to do something similar with this one right here. I'm going to turn the transparency up so that we can see him coming through there. All right, so we've kind of got all three blending together now. Now another thing you might want to try is, even mess around with the layering a little bit. So you know what, I'm going to take these two pictures and turn their transparency back down. Now that I'm looking at this, this might be even better. And I'm going to bring this picture back up to the front. And I'm going to do the transparency down on the airplane so we see the other stuff kind of more behind the airplane. I almost think I like that a little better. But anyway, you can play around with this. Oh, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to move so his face isn't right on the wing there. I'm going to move him down a little bit. So there's a couple cool tricks. Now, one other thing that I kind of like when I'm doing collages like this is I like to crop my other photos, okay? And so you see how it's got like just these big rectangles sticking out? Something fun you can do is when you crop down a picture, you can click on this little arrow next to it. So just so you know it, I clicked on the picture first, and then I'm going to click on this, not on the crop button, the button right next to it. And let's do a circle. And so now you'll see it's kind of cut out more like a circle. And so it's more, it kind of blends it together in a different way that I think is pretty cool. I'm going to do the same thing over here with this one. Okay. And I can even adjust it if I want to. Like if I double click here, double click on this picture to get the crop stuff up and kind of shrink in the crop a little bit. You see how it kind of squishes the circle so it's a more narrow one. Okay. And then once you've done that, to see kind of what the actual final thing is going to look like in your slideshow, hit the present button. And so that's what the whole thing looks like together. And that looks kind of cool, young Chuck Yeager, old Chuck Yeager, and the plane that made him famous. So those are just a fun creative thing to try. Now obviously there's a lot more you could do with that. Lots of different ways to arrange stuff, layer stuff. Hopefully this just gets some of those creative juices flowing in your brain, and I can't wait to see what you are able to create.